All right, everybody, it's Wednesday. It is August 30th. So we are here, payday indeed.
Yes, sir.
We are here with Decatur Central Hawks varsity football coach, Mr. Coach Enright. Coach, how are you this morning?
Great. Little fall crisp chill
Yes,
to the air as I walked in this morning, which is a welcome relief. Hoodie season.
No doubt. Agree totally.
Bonfires.
All right, Coach, on a little more serious note, we had a few special things happen this week, and we wanted to kind of touch on those things. If you'd like to expand on that for us.
Absolutely. I mean, it was a special night, obviously, for the Township Hall of Fame night. Some people, great nominees that were recognized and entered into the Hall of Fame, so that was good. And but the one thing that kind of I think was really heartfelt and felt by the community was the moment of silence for Big Joe Griffith.
Yeah.
So he's been on the sideline at Decatur Central running the chains for over 30 years, probably the longest anyone's ever done that. And the moment of silence I thought was really a nice touch to honor him.
Agree.
And there was even a moment at the end of the game, which not a lot of people know about, but little Joe came up to me after the game and told me that right before the interception by Casey, he looked over and said, Dad's here with us on the field, and he's playing safety. And then Casey got the interception the next play. So
you could feel it.
You could feel it.
I agree.
You could feel the energy and the vibe, but, just a nice honor for a legendary Hawk.
Yeah, and there's, like I say, there's a few people in the township, families, I guess you could say. When I think, I'm like, that's Decatur Central, and the Griffiths are definitely in that list of names and families.
Absolutely.
So, but positive things. Something positive happened as well.
One positive here. So all week we knew that Mackenzie Gooden, Max, our defensive coordinator's wife, was scheduled for a C-section on Friday morning.
Yeah.
They didn't want it to be scheduled on Friday, but the doctors have their own plans. So he was going to have to miss the game, and he prepared all week as such, and our staff did a great job. They had a plan for him not being there. But baby Sydney and Mac wanted it to be done early. So her water broke on Thursday, and they went to the hospital and had the baby on Thursday. So Sydney came on Thursday, and he was able to coach on Friday.
How great is that?
Yeah, so it worked out great for him, and a special night, obviously, 24-hour span there of having your second child.
I'd kind of heard little snippets of the story, but to hear you tell it all, I mean, it's even more remarkable.
Yeah, so we were so glad to have him on the sideline with us, and then get to celebrate the win afterwards. On a sour note, did you hear about this?
I was going to say, I talked to her this morning coming into school.
Yeah, so Vogel was a major weapon.
Absolutely.
Major weapon. So much so that he snapped my wife's wrist. Yeah. So first kick, it was the first extra point. He kind of line-drived it. It was low. She's trying to dodge it. She sticks her arm out to protect. I think Gunnar Dixon was behind her. And hit her right in the
heat sinker.
Palm. Heat sinker. Snapped. So she's in a cast, but
she's handling well though, man. You got a tough wife.
She is, and she didn't tell me until the end of the game. So
goodness, man, bless her heart.
She didn't want me to worry.
She toughed it out.
She did. She did. So that was special.
Eventful weekend on and off the field.
Absolutely.
Like I said, I love that that we honor people that mean a lot to us, and I think that's a big deal. And all three of those people mean tremendous amount to all of us. So,
absolutely.
And, especially one is at home with you. So I mean that's a
special
big deal. She's going to need a little extra care.
Yes, and we're in the middle of moving. So
goodness.
Now I've got. Going to have to get some football players.
And knowing your wife, she probably hates that she can't help or contribute too much.
She does. She's struggling.
Well, we wish her success in her healing. So hopefully that'll. We also wish Coach Gooden success with the baby and getting all that going. I know that's a lot.
Absolutely.
So first things first, congratulations on an absolutely massive win Friday.
Yeah, man, that was a fun weekend.
I tell you,
fun night.
I'll be honest. This is just my personal opinion. I said this to a friend that I said I can't think of a more meaningful win than maybe beating Cathedral in 2018 in the sectional.
That's fair. That's fair.
I just meant so much.
It did. I think it meant so much to our kids just because of the things that we preached.
100% agree.
All off season.
Yeah.
And that coming to fruition really was great for the kids. But what a fun night!
Oh my gosh!
Fans got their money worth for that one.
100% agree.
New Pal played a great game.
Yeah.
Either way it went.
Agreed.
Like I told our kids after the game, man, you can be proud. If we would have lost by 1 point,
exactly.
we still have the same
Played your
feeling.
guts out.
I mean,
yeah,
they played their butts off. So it was a fun night.
Well, I tell you what, let's get a little into the weeds with this. Who stood out offensively Friday night? I got my ideas, but I'm sure you got more.
Yeah, little guy number 3 can't catch Chris.
Oh man,
took off. So that was great to see. Just really proud of Chris because he came in as a freshman, maybe weighing 110 pounds, 115 pounds, and we knew he was fast, and he knew he's fast, and he's the Flash, and all those things, but. It was hard for him to gain weight his first 3 years, and Coach Lane really worked with him, and he took it upon himself to be serious and grind in the weight room, which is hard for little guys. Little guys don't like to grind in the weight room.
For sure.
He actually ended up liking it
and
did it, and he's up to, I think, 145, 150, which for him, is great.
Right, for sure.
It helps him stay a little bit healthier, but man, it was great to see him explode onto the scene.
I think you'll agree with me. Coach Lane is an unsung hero, man. I don't think he gets credit, but
we'll get into him a little bit later when we're talking about the attrition of some of the players throughout the game.
For sure.
12-round fight, because, that's why.
That's exactly right.
It's Lane trained. But, so Chris stood out. He had 7 catches, 188 yards, and 2 big touchdowns. And then Bo, coming off of a week where he didn't even throw for 100 yards against Columbus North. With all the accolades and preseason hype to kind of have a low throwing percentage week 1, under 100 yards. We still get the win.
Right.
But to kind of take coaching from Coach Lyda, who does a great job with him, and just our offensive staff, keeping him steady, and it's going to come. It's going to come. And we just talked about, throughout the week of, we've got some fast, talented receivers, but we just can't take shots down the field all the time. We've got to hit them with quick game early, and I thought he really did a good job of hitting the first read. Our receivers ran good routes. We spread the ball out, threw it 45 times in the game, which is a lot for us at Decatur Central.
For sure.
So, but, man, Bo had a great game, 365 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles, ran for 40 and a touchdown, another big one right at the end.
Yeah, that's pretty good football game.
Yeah, but the offensive line, my goodness.
Can't say enough,
When you throw it 45 times and you give up 0 sacks against a New Pal defense who blitzes with their odd stack, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's unheard of. So all 5 of those guys should get Player of the Week. But
I agree.
Coach Sherritt grades a little bit difficult. So they got our top 2 Players of the Week were Alex Serber and Tyler Cooper, and they tied with 86% blocking.
That's all.
So that's a B, right? 86%.
Right,
They were the top, and then the other guys were all in the 70s. So our offensive line played amazing, but 3 of them got C's and 2 got B's. But Nate, Big Al,
tough room, man.
Tyler, Javian, who am I leaving out, and Caden Cole are just continuing to get better individually, but more importantly, getting better as a group. And that's the biggest thing with offensive line.
Yeah, 100%. And we kind of talked about how they started to gel a little bit at the tail end of that Columbus North game,
absolutely.
and I think that was the difference that allowed us to finish that game off. And then, of course, they just carried it on. I mean, I thought that opening drive was tremendous. Very few penalties. I mean, you can't say enough positive things about those 5 guys.
Absolutely. They did a phenomenal job. And then our skill guys, again, I think that we have so many weapons on the field, and we're able to rotate at running back with Dodo and Barry, and then with Rel, Carson, and Kaz out wide. Man, there's a lot of things to defend.
Yeah, agree.
A lot of things to defend. So, we ran some tempo on offense. We ran more plays than we have in a while. We ran 75 plays.
That's awesome. That's huge.
Dodo only had 5 touches, but he went for 65 yards and 2 touchdowns. Casey only had 3 touches, but it went for 55 yards. Kaz came in and got 3 for 27. Carson had 2 big catches, one a crucial 3rd down and 5 catch where he got it on a slant. And then kind of the unsung hero that really doesn't get the ball but isn't up front and doesn't get talked about as a lineman or as a skill guy, but just annihilates dudes is Albert Aguirre.
Yeah, oh my goodness. I mean,
he was the 6th man in the pass pro scheme that really – anytime there was a leakage coming through on the defensive line, he was there to pick it up.
Yeah.
Just a very cerebral player,
I can remember several times while calling the game last week that I just thought, oh my Lord, the blitz pickup that gentleman just made
you did.
was
you mentioned
spectacular.
that on the broadcast. Yeah,
just spectacular.
It was very big for us. So just a great all-around performance by the offense after a feeling out process. Week 1, we exploded for 470 yards of offense, and we preached execution by all 11. And I think they really took that to heart. You can go down to the last play of the game where we score on the boot from Bo into the right corner. Tyler Cooper does an amazing job of just sealing the edge with a reach block right away. He doesn't wait. A lot of times guys don't take the proper footwork, and the defensive end will string that play out and force you to throw it or get out of bounds. He set the edge right away and pinned the guy in. Serb comes around as a guard to clean up and kind of lead outside.
He cleaned up big time.
He cleaned up right at the goal line.
Yeah, it was unreal.
Sometimes as a quarterback, you think you see a guy open and you panic, but he saw the lane and took it in. So, again, it's just we ran the right routes to space those guys out and give Bo a lane. But in the fourth quarter of a 12-round fight, the last play of the game, again, you score and all 11 guys are executing. Man, phenomenal job by the kids.
For old football junkies, it was a beautiful play to watch. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. And you could see it building as Bo sprinted out, and I saw Serb's block at the goal line, and I went nuts on the broadcast. So just absolutely beautiful to watch.
It was great for our township, and it was a fun night. It was a fun night.
So you just spoke of all these offensive guys, and they had a phenomenal night. But how about our defensive guys?
Defensive guys? So giving up 42 points isn't the best, but I will say, New Pal is a very good offensive football team. They've got a giant going to Ohio State that just moves people. Their running back is really solid. They're a very good running football team. I mean, one of the best in the state, one of the best we're going to see all year. So, although they rushed the ball well, I felt like they weren't just gashing us left and right for 70-yard runs. You know, we would score, and it would take them time to score. We got them off the field a couple times with punts. We had 2 big interceptions. Our pass defensive game was phenomenal. So our defense did just enough to give us a chance and keeping us in the game. But some guys that stood out. Ultimately, Braden LaFollette is just a stud, man. He cramped, so he only played 2 quarters. But his first half was amazing. He had 5 solos, 2 assists, 1 tackle for loss, 1 pass defense, and 1 interception, and won the wetsuit flag for this coming up week, all in 2 quarters. So that's some production right there. But Aguirre, again, man, what can you say? Our 2 inside guys had 12. Aguirre had 12 tackles and Steve-O 10.
Jeez. And
just the physicality. So even though Grayson ran for some yards, I just felt like they were tough yards. Like he was getting hit. He didn't finish the game because of that. They put number 7 Crop in there towards the end. Hopefully Grayson's okay. I'm not saying that, but he earned all those yards. Like he had to earn it. And so very proud of the inside backers again. But defensive line wise, Shanks and Vincent and Jones came in there and were tough on the inside. Shanks and Vincent combined for 13 tackles here. Yeah, which is really good for defensive linemen. And then Javian, he didn't play that much, but maybe 15 to 20 snaps, and had 4 tackles and 1 huge tackle for loss on the 4th down play in the 4th quarter. Probably the play of the game on defense. Again, they've got 4th and 1. They've got a huge line. They're going to give it to Grayson up the middle. Can we stop them? And Javian blows up the center, and Albert and Steve-O double blitz through the A-gap and drill him in the backfield. And we get a huge stop, get the ball back. Man, it just gives me chills because, man, that was beautiful. But and then our 2 hybrid guys, Bonnie and Michael, I mean, they do a little bit of everything and just played phenomenally. Again, Bonnie was the one matched up with Ian Moore most of the night.
Heard about that in class.
Yeah. He shook his hand before the game and told him he should have picked Michigan instead of Ohio State because Bonnie's a Michigan fan. But just a great game by those 2 guys. Michael progressed. He didn't play really well in the first half, and he took coaching and came out and had a great second half.
I think he made 3 plays in a row in the first series of the 3rd quarter.
He did.
I mean,
which is just
that's unreal.
A great testament to our kids. Like, taking coaching at halftime. Here's what we saw. Here's what you need to do, and then they come out in the second half and perform better, which that's awesome to see. So
yeah, for sure.
And then the next phase of the game.
The kicking and the special teams.
Can you believe Vogel? I mean,
I've said it before. I'll say it again. He's a special talent.
Yeah.
He really is.
I've never seen anything like. I mean, we're legitimately gonna try to kick 50 and 55 yarders.
Yeah.
Like he's that good.
Yeah.
But he works it every single day, and he does it with detail in the same way. Like I kind of relate. It's weird. It's a niche thing in football, but like I don't do much. Darts, cornhole, something that you have to repeat your same motion every single time as a kicker, and he's so consistent in repeating that same motion and striking the ball. But with Bonnie holding, I think that's his comfort blanket. Bonnie is a phenomenal holder.
Yeah.
I was a holder myself. It's one of those unsung things. Like you're only noticed if you drop the ball.
It's a very tough job.
Difficult to get it down quick, but Bonnie does a great job. But man, Ashton hit a 46-yarder, a 43-yarder, and a 40-yarder. 3 field goals over 40 yards in the game. Missed one, which was from 49. But in high school football, you kick it into the end zone, it's a touchback on a field goal. Which in the NFL, the defense gets it where you kicked it from. So that's a huge difference. That's a 40-yard swing. So, and then he was 4 for 4 on extra points. I think he had 6 out of 9 touchbacks into the end zone. Where again, they're starting from the 20. They've got to go 80 yards.
Yeah, he just can't say enough good thing. He had a phenomenal football game.
Yeah, he did. And then a couple other special teams guys I want to bring up. Braden Smith, Smitty. Very good inside linebacker, but he's got 2 seniors ahead of him, so he doesn't get a lot of playing time as a sophomore. Doesn't mean he's not a great player, and he understands that. And he takes that role seriously and took his special teams role seriously. Recovered a huge fumble in the third quarter, but made all kinds of special teams plays.
And what a great kid.
Yeah.
On top of that, I love talking to
Absolutely. And we tell those guys, like, it's hard to buy into that. Like, kids want to make an impact on Friday night. And if they don't, sometimes they're in their feelings and they don't want to do it. But
it's tough waiting your turn.
Especially a kid that's a varsity player in something else. He's a varsity baseball player. But,
agreed.
To come in and take it seriously and have fun with it and hit people and, that's what we need. And we have a lot of those guys in this sophomore class, but he really stood out to me as a special teams.
I agree. I remember saying his name a handful of times and thought, man, this – I love talking about kids that I like, that I know are good people. So tip of the cap to him.
And he'll hit you, man. I just love his toughness.
Yeah, so. He's a good to have.
What else you got? Anything?
All right, man. I tell you what, I think we're good with you, Coach. We're going to talk to a couple stars of the game from Friday night, Chris Richmond and Javian Jones. I'm excited to get those guys in here and get to know them a little bit better for you guys as well. So we're going to give Coach a break here, and we'll introduce you to Chris Richmond and Javian Jones. All right, folks, I'm here with a couple of standouts this season for your Decatur Central Hawks. On my far side here, Mr. Chris Richmond, and next to me is Mr. Javian Jones. How are you guys today?
We're good. How are you
doing? Doing great. Glad to have you guys. So what we like to do is introduce you guys a little bit, ask you some questions, and maybe I'll introduce you to our audience here and get folks to know you a little bit personally, a little beyond, just seeing you on Friday night in your jersey. So first things first, who is the GOAT of all time in basketball? Jordan, LeBron, or Kobe? Bron.
I'm a Jordan fan.
All right, so we got conflicting, and that's always been the argument: is it Jordan or LeBron? Who knows? So they're both pretty good, folks. Let's see. What is a better superpower? Having super speed like the Flash or super strength like the Hulk?
I say super strength.
Super speed by far.
Of course, that's. I'm not gonna lie. I think when you walked in the door, everybody knew exactly what you guys were gonna pick on that one. Just saying. All right. So, what's your favorite Decatur Central uniform combo for football? You like the all whites?
I like blue and gold. I like blue
and
top,
gold. Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Gold pants, blue top. He likes the retro look.
I like the blue and blue with the navy helmets and the
blue
white on white with the white helmets. That's nice.
All right. I'm not gonna lie. I like both those answers. All right. What's your favorite food? We like to eat. Ooh, this is a tough question, huh?
Yeah. Well, I say steak.
Steak,
like
all right.
steak, yeah.
All right.
Steak is my favorite meat.
Couple carnivores over here.
Yeah.
All right. Right this minute, is your bedroom clean or dirty?
It's clean.
Clean.
I clean last night.
Good man. Clean. You clean,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
All right. Some of these kids aren't. I'll just tell you right now, they're not clean. Would you rather travel back in time or travel into the future?
I say back in time.
All right.
I say into the future.
All right. See, so this makes total sense. You have an offensive, defensive lineman who's about 300 pounds, maybe. We'll say 290. You want to be slimmer, or you'd rather be 300?
We'd be 300.
All right, 300, and then you got a wide receiver here. He's 150. You got to think their answers are going to be completely opposite, and we just proved that. So, so this is Javian Jones, Chris Richmond. Come out to Whiteland High School Friday night if you want to see these guys. And Chris is going for 3 games in a row with a touchdown catch, if you guys didn't know that. This guy is going to be serving pancakes all night long and pouring syrup on top. So come on out and watch that, guys, and we hope to see you there. And we'll be back in just a short minute with Coach Enright. Thanks so much.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
All right, folks, we are back with Coach Enright, and we talked about our game Friday night against New Palestine. Well, we're going to talk about our upcoming game this coming Friday against the Whiteland Warriors, a team that we know all too well for quite some time. Coach, tell us about the Warriors.
Absolutely, we do know them quite well. It typically comes down to the Mid-State Conference to us in Whiteland.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
For the conference championship. I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's usually between us and them.
Yeah.
So we know early in the season we're going to have a big test with probably one of the top 2 or 3 teams in the conference every year. So just a little bit about them, led by the Hall of Famer Darren Fisher, great coach. Yep. Runs a unique offense that is kind of he's kind of the guru, so to speak, of this offense that they run, this jet fly sweep offense, and it's hard to defend. To defend. So whatever your defense is traditionally, you don't really run a traditional defense against these guys. So you've got to kind of change, and it's hard to do for high school kids in 4 short practices to try to prepare for something you don't see on a daily basis. So that's the unique challenge with them, their offense, and Coach Fisher's ability to kind of dictate what you do. Another thing about Whiteland, they're coming off a state championship run.
Yep.
So, they're riding high with confidence. Their coaches are very confident. Their players are very confident. It's very similar to our run in 2018. They've got the mojo going, and they're pretty confident in themselves. But they're coming off a loss. So that's unique and different. I think they've lost 2 games in a row, only 2 times in the last 6 years when I looked that up. So they don't lose 2 games in a row a lot, which tells me they're well coached. They come back the next week with better energy and better effort. Right. And Coach doesn't let them have 1 loss turn into 2. So it's going to be a challenge going over to Whiteland and trying to compete for a conference championship. So
do you find you do something differently offensively, or do you just do your thing, run your play, and coach your team?
So offensively for us, we try to look at where the defense is strong, where they're the most strong, and then try to exploit some of the weaknesses that the players on the defense, the personnel, might give us some advantages, and then also what's best to run versus the scheme that they run. So it changes slightly. Sure. You really want kind of like a base offense that can be run versus any defense, but that's a very good question. You kind of look at where they're weak and then where the scheme dictates. So
all right. Well, hey, I tell you what. For those of you, if you are not interested in making the trip to Whiteland, they may have some sort of a feed. Obviously, DCTV won't be running anything because it's an away game, but it's worth the trip to head over there.
Absolutely.
To 31 in Whiteland Road and watch the Hawks. Try and stay undefeated. Like you said, it's a tough road, isn't it?
Yeah, tough road. These first 3 weeks are 3 of the most challenging games we'll have, and we're looking forward to it.
I tell you what, though, after last Friday, man, I don't know if it's going to take an effort to get our train off the tracks, man. I love the way our guys are playing. I love our receiver core. I love the way our quarterback is playing, the confidence he has. I like our line on both sides of the football. Somebody we didn't mention, Connor Bentley.
Absolutely.
Those 2 defensive tackles, and you can even throw Alex Serber in there with Javian Jones and Connor. Those gentlemen are 2 defensive ends in our linebacker core. I put them up against anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, I really feel like those guys are playing exceptional.
And the number of people you're naming.
100%.
We have depth.
100%.
That's why we threw the last punch against New Pal.
Yeah, and I think that's the key to beating a Whiteland offense running that jet sweep. I felt like we were successful in 2018 because we could get penetration and stop that sweep from reaching the edges.
Yeah.
And I think that's something we could do again this year.
Absolutely.
So,
Spot on.
So, man, getting those cars and head out, man. Head south and head east and come watch the Hawks come home with a W.
Whiteout at Whiteland.
We're going to do a little whiteout. All you stormtroopers, head on out to Whiteland on Friday night. That game should start at 7, correct, Coach?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see you guys there. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
Go Hawks.